Hi.
This is Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
We think.
Probably.
I hope.
Hopefully.
So the final total was in $470 in the lead was Metroid Prime 2 to Metroid Prime 1's $370.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So are we ready to go? Yep. Okay, I'll count down.
It is 1:30.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is Metroid Prime 2, the direct sequel to Metroid Prime 1. And the story of this is basically, oh, the world's in danger. You have to save this from the Ing and defeat these evil guys, basically. And you start this game with a good chunk of upgrades, such as Boost Ball, and Spider Ball, and Space Jump, and missiles. And you're in a few rooms, you're kind of supposed to get all those items stolen, and start with basically nothing. But there's a hole in the ceiling here, apparently, that no one has known for 12 years. So now we're out of bounds. And we're just going to completely skip the sequence of losing our items. So to reiterate, we start the game with missiles, bombs, boost ball, spider ball, and space jump. The game lies to you about grapple beam. You don't start with it. And this completely breaks the game open.
There we go.
There we go.
I hate this menu, but this,
Yeah, so
this TV is a bit darker than the TV I'm used to, so I'm just going to up the brightness a bit.
yeah, so when you're out of bounds, you can't just go freely wherever you want. You have to manually load rooms and then do what's called a transition. So what Miles did on top of that door was a transition to go into the next room.
The idea is that you have to make the game think that you're in the next room, otherwise you can't load like 2 rooms ahead or anything like that. So now we're back in the main sequence of the game, and you're supposed to go to the Great Temple, where the game gives you like the synopsis of what's going on in the game and what you're supposed to do. But we already have a bunch of upgrades, and we don't need to really go there. So right here he's getting an energy tank, which gives you an extra 100 health. And it will be very important later on, because you actually need a lot of health to go out the run. And by using a slope jump here, by getting extra height, you can also get out of bounds right here.
Yeah, expect to see out of bounds a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it.
So right here he needs to get on top of this door and then load the next room. And fortunately, this room has a power bomb tank in it, which requires power bombs to get, but if you're out of bounds, you can sort of clip in and grab the power bomb tank, which is a very late game upgrade. And he just got power bombs in 5 minutes into the game. And the entire point of this detour in this room is to get the energy tank and the power bomb tank. So now he's going to go back to an elevator to the first major area in the game, Aegon. So he has to specifically hit a certain point there to load the next room, because generally speaking, you load a room by hitting an invisible load trigger or by shooting a door and getting close to it. In this scenario, the load trigger was below a specific spot in the tunnel. But here, in this situation, he needs to shoot the door and get close to it to load the next room. It's loading, and now he's back in bounds.
It's actually very helpful that that door you need to shoot, because if you end up falling like Miles did earlier, you can more easily recover it and actually let the room reload around you.
So now he's going to the first major area in the game, and the intended sequence here is to go to the Aegon Temple and get the bombs and space jump. We already have those, so you don't need to bother with them at all. And then you're supposed to go through a bunch of pirate fights, go through a pirate base, and then get Dark Beam, which is the next beam upgrade you get. So first of all, he's going to make a detour here to grab an extra energy tank. Because as unfortunate as it is, this is one of the fastest energy tanks to get.
Yeah, it's just, I absolutely need 3 by some point later. And so that detour is very slow, but there's not really a choice.
Alright, so there's this little enemy called a Sand Digger. It has 2 heads. He's going to kill 1 head. And then the other head is going to try to grab Miles, Morphle mode, by manipulating him into a specific position. This time.
There we
Now
go.
we're back out of bounds.
This game is ridiculous.
This is why Prime 2 is awesome. It is much more broken than Prime 1. And Prime 1 in itself is actually pretty broken too. So the entire point of this out of bounds here isn't to necessarily skip any upgrades, ignoring the fact that we already have bombs and space jump, but rather just skip a bunch of pirate fights. And it's a really valuable shortcut. And it saves around 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 2.5, not exactly sure how much.
It saves a lot of time.
Yeah. Luckily, this cutscene doesn't move you. There are some cutscenes that will reposition Samus. This is one of them that doesn't.
So he's been kind of jumping back and forth like this, and the reason for that is that the game has some really weird out of bounds mechanics. So basically, every room is surrounded by an invisible box, and inside that box is typical inbounds physics, where you can kind of jump around and do whatever you want, as if you're inbound, sort of. But when you're outside of that invisible box, you're suspended in the air in what we call ether. So, but if you walk into the side of this invisible box...
If you're inside the box, you fall. If you're outside the box, you don't fall. That's basically it.
If you go from outside the box to inside the box,
Like
you have
that.
a 3-frame window to jump. And just to point out, this game does run at 60 frames per second, so it's a very, very tight window for these ether jumps.
So he's loading the next room by walking across that door. Fun fact, if you hold the R button while this room loads, you crash the game. So this is kind of like the backwards entrance to the boss fight required to get Dark Beam, meaning we skipped around 6 or 7 rooms going around the base.
Hi, Dark Samus. Bye, Dark Samus.
Hey, bye. So defeating Dark Samus herself isn't strictly required, per se. Like, you can just get Dark Beam immediately. But there's a Spider Ball track we want to use in the same room that doesn't activate until after you defeat Dark Samus. And the Dark Beam is required for opening Dark Beam doors, obviously, but also unlocking Dark Portals. which for those not familiar with the game, this game features a light and dark world mechanic similar to Link to the Past, and portals are a way to go back and forth between them. For example, the dark portal right here. So in the Dark World, you're constantly in a state of losing health. You lose around 6 HP per second, unless you're in a safe zone. And this is a big reason why you really want to have extra energy tanks, which will be explained more clearly later. And early on, you're supposed to get this upgrade called the Dark Suit, which reduces the damage you take from the Dark World down to 1.2 damage per second. But we don't like the suit, do we?
No.
No?
Looks terrible.
I think it looks pretty ugly, so we're never going to get it.
What?
That's never happened before, has it?
That's happened plenty of times, but it's still annoying.
Yeah, so you can use boost ball to blow up the
Yeah, so
the rubble.
I
But
could have just boosted straight through it, but it just didn't work.
for some weird reason.
So the entire point of this trip to the Dark World is we're actually using an intended route right now to go get Light Beam, which, surprise, is kind of the opposite of Dark Beam. It opens light doors and unlocks light portals.
Okay, what Miles did there is called a roll jump. If you position the camera in a way where Samus gets an instant unmorph, then you have 22 frames to jump.
I'm so surprised
Because
I actually made it.
the game still thinks Samus is on the ground for those 22 frames.
This TV is not having... It's not liking the color white. Top screen freaks out whenever like a fully white screen appears.
But yeah, as Anthony was mentioning, the entire point of the roll jump is to gain extra distance, which is useful both as a speed technique and also for just certain skips in the run.
Yeah. Also, the other trick Miles was doing there is a scan dash. If you lock on and then do a combat dash and then hold R, you can keep your speed up to a cap, which I believe that cap is like 18 speed.
The general idea is that whenever you're holding both the L and the R button, you maintain all of your lateral speed. So you want to be holding R when you're at maximum speed with the scan dash, and then you can move larger distances than intended. So this Spider Ball track doesn't work until you beat Dark Samus 1, and it's a very important Spider Ball track. So remember that early power bomb that Miles got? Yeah, there's an elevator to Sanctuary Fortress, which is the third and final major area in the game. So he's just going to go straight there.
Yeah, there's an elevator from Aegon, from Torvis, and from Great Temple to get to Sanctuary. But for the Aegon and Torvis ones, you need power bombs, because you're not supposed to get power bombs until you've already visited Sanctuary Fortress once. But since we got it power bombs early, yeah, we can do this.
Wow, that was a really lucky power bomb drop.
Oh yeah, it might be a good idea to talk about drop rates.
Yeah, drop rates and echoes are pretty nice usually, because echoes give drop rates depending on what you have, or in a sense what you're lacking. So if you're at 0 power bombs, then generally speaking, echoes has an 80% chance of giving you a power bomb drop. And similarly with health, if you're below 20% of your maximum health in the game, it has like I think a 90% 75% chance of giving you a yellow health drop, which gives you 100 health.
Okay, so what Miles is doing here is he's going to go into the next room slightly, but the game still thinks he's in the other room. And
the game freaks out and shoves him out of bounds.
Yeah.
And that's what we call the morph secret world. By morphing in a specific spot while the game thinks you're in the wrong room, it shoves you out of bounds, flips you out.
Yeah, it's funny looking at the collision in that room because like the collision of the door frame doesn't actually match the door at all. So it's like there's a giant like ring around the door that just doesn't exist.
So the entire point of that skip was he just unlocked a door that's a one-way door that you can only unlock on the other side, but by being out of bounds, you can unlock it from the wrong side, which skips a puzzle.
Yeah. He's taking the safety save here because there's an upcoming trick that you'll have one shot at, and that's it.
It's a very notorious trick, and you have to do a complicated scan dash, and it saves several minutes to get it.
Yeah.
So in Sanctuary Fortress, the first thing you're supposed to get is getting Cobalt Translator and Spider Ball, then Power Bombs, and so on. And the Screw Attack is essentially the last upgrade you're supposed to get before the major boss.
This roll jump is a major sequence break. He just skipped everything that you need to do before Screw Attack.
Skip requiring Echo Visor, requiring Power Bombs, requiring basically anything. This is a skip that lets you get Screw Attack first. One of the major skips that lets you get Screw Attack first in this area. So this is Grand Abyss. Have fun.
Good luck.
Not going to be much fun here.
Nice. There we go.
Yes.
So that dash is a really difficult trick. You have a 3-frame window to walk off a ledge and press B to get what's called a floaty dash. You have to press R at the right time to get the scan dash input, and you'll also have to bend the dash forward by pressing up immediately after pressing B. You have to do all of that within a very strict timing window because there's a robot in that room that will start moving once you cross a certain points, and it will never show up ever again.
Yeah.
You don't need that like 3-frame window floaty dash, but it makes it a lot easier to make the dash.
Yeah, so there's a trigger as you enter that room, and that causes the robots to start flying away, and the room layer changes so that they never appear again. So
And that's why it's a one-shot trick. So that trick's really important because it allows you to get Screw Attack without having Grapple Beam, which is an upgrade all the way into Orvis, the second major area in the game. Now you have Screw Attack, which one is like the third to last upgrade you're supposed to get in the game, and two, it's also a very broken upgrade, as you'll soon see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for those not familiar, Screw Attack kind of works differently from 2D Metroids, where it kind of acts as like a third jump, where once you trigger it, you can basically space jump forward up to 5 times, while dealing a lot of damage to whatever enemies you touch. So right here, he's doing a trick where he's unlocking a Morph Ball slot without using Spider Ball. He technically has Spider Ball, so he didn't need to do that, but it's still faster than actually doing the puzzle as intended.
Yeah, so we mentioned an instant unmorph earlier. You can do the same thing, but with an instant morph instead, and that's how he was able to get inside the Spider Ball track. Or get inside the Morph Ball bomb slot. Yeah.
So that is the third and last energy tank he's going to get, and you'll soon see why he has to have 3 energy tanks. And there's also a very good reason he's taking another safety save here.
Very, very good reason.
Very good reason.
Yeah.
You have Spider Ball.
Yeah.
But it says it's supposed to say you have Grapple Beam.
Oh, by the way, that Spider Ball track there doesn't work until after you beat Spider Guardian.
Oh,
So-
this is why Screw Attack's broken, by the way.
Oh, hey there. Nice.
Yeah, so with Screw Attack, you have these, for the moment you're in there, you have the size of Morph Ball.
Okay, phew. That was very scary. You were really low there.
Wow. So you can kind of squeeze in as Morph Ball by using Screw Attack, and then Screw Attack automatically puts you back into human mode, and that causes you to go out of, or allows you to get out of bounds in many places.
As you'll soon see right here, he'll Screw Attack into a Morph Ball slot. Probably. And he's out of bounds. And he's going to hit a Terminal Fall here, and that will warp him to the other side of the room. And this is the few rooms before Quadraxis, who is the big boss, the main boss of Sanctuary Fortress. And the reason why we need to go to Quadraxis is not because we want to beat him, and we don't need an Annihilator Beam, but to get the final upgrade, the Light Suit, the game, you're required to get the Sanctuary Energy by going past the aerial boss, and then returning it in the light version. For plot reasons, you're supposed to do that for all 3 major areas, but the game only checks this area. And you need Light Suit to get several Light Sky Temple keys, which are pretty much the main goal of the game, to get the keys in order to get to the last area. So he needs to do a series of ether jumps here quickly, because he's constantly losing health. Nice. And he's going to walk over Quadraxis. Say goodbye.
Whatever.
Yeah, nice. And he's back. So that's the first half of Quadraxis skip.
Okay, so one thing to note is that most of the times Miles has gone back in bounds, he's done what's called a door warp, which is letting the room load around him. He didn't make it in time, so what he did instead was a ceiling warp, which if you get enough vertical height as you drop down...
No,
and then
you do a ceiling warp both times. I was just too far forward the first time, so...
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you can get out of bounds here with Screw Attack.
But yeah, like what he was saying is that if you land on a slope ceiling with enough speed and on Morph, if it's... Yeah, you can just sometimes get back and down just like that.
This game is Echoes. We kind of joke about it making no sense, and that's kind of true. It doesn't make sense a lot of times. A lot of these out-of-bounds mechanics are pretty much shared between the 3 Prime games, although out-of-bounds is very different in Metroid Prime Hunters. So he has to go out of bounds here again because he doesn't have an Annihilator Beam. And you kind of need an Annihilator Beam to get out of this area in bounds. And there you go, back in bounds.
And that's it.
Nice.
I'll not be going back to the Dark World until after I have the Light Suit.
Light Suit makes you completely immune to the Dark World's environment, so you will not take any more damage. So he got the Sanctuary energy from the Dark World. He needs to return it to the same corresponding room in the light version of the room. How did I word that? I just said like 10 extra words I didn't need to. You need to kill this quad here because it locks you in a room until you defeat it. And you got the quick kill. Nice.
Yeah, if you don't kill the head immediately after it comes off, then it puts a shield up around it.
The other thing with that quad, which is a little bit different from the others, is if you don't kill the legs first, it respawns another head.
Yeah. I want to get Cobalt, but there's also a cutscene in this room, so it's like I partly scan it before and then start scanning it again after.
But the temple's energy has been restored, and now when he goes back to the Great Temple, which, by the way, he was supposed to visit at the start of the run, but he never did, then Umos will give you the light suit. Oh, hey, nice corner.
Yeah, exactly the same as in the Dark World earlier.
Yeah, like a lot of the geometry between the light and the dark world are exactly the same. So in most cases, whatever you can do in the light world, you can also do in the dark world, exactly the same way. All right, so he doesn't really need to get out of bounds here to like go back to get light suit, but there's another reason why he's doing this.
First of all, this gate is the reason I got Cobalt, and going through is not necessary right now, but will be at the end of the run, so I'm opening it now just to save time.
Now he's unlocking a kinetic orb cannon right here, and the game thinks he's in the other room right now, not the room with the cannon.
What? No,
Wait.
right now I am in.
No, you are in the room. Yeah, I'm mixing things up.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm not quite sure what happened. That worked out. Yeah, that whole thing was weird. Okay, anyway, I'm about to get shot out of the cannonball. The map is on the wrong room. And what's going to happen now is this room is going to unload midway. Right there. And so now the game permanently gives me the cannonball effect from when you're in a cannon. So there's a few big things it does. One, I am now completely invincible while in Morph Ball from everything. That's not really useful for speed, but it's still useful to have. Second, to specific enemies, you will do 500,000 damage per frame to them while in Morph Ball.
For reference sake, Screw Attack does like I think 26 per frame.
36.
36?
Yeah. So like these, whatever they're called, I don't remember, but they're immune, so I couldn't kill them with Cannonball. But there is an enemy later that it will save a lot of time to kill with Cannonball.
Yeah, and also, again, this game runs at 60 frames per second, so it's a lot of damage.
If you're touching an enemy for an entire second, you're going to do 500,000 times 60 damage in that 1 second.
Yeah, and I'll keep Cannonball, the Cannonball effect, as long as I don't enter another cannon and as long as I don't reset the game. So, not entering another cannon is easy. There's like only one cannon I have to Screw Attack across the room to avoid. But not resetting the games means I need to not mess up anywhere. So, or else I'll have to go set up Cannonball again.
So he's taking Sanctuary's elevator back to Aegon, which was, again, the first major area in the game. And he can't just leave through the main entrance of Sanctuary Fortress because there are 2 gates that are one-way gates, and you're supposed to unlock them by when coming in. But he never came in that way, so there's no way to really exit out of that way without going out of bounds. And in that situation, out of bounds is very slow.
Yeah, so this room is the only real place I have to avoid a cannon. So I have to just Screw Attack across it instead, which costs about 8 seconds.
Oh, there you go, 500,000 damage. What was that from Boost Ball? I don't really...
No, they died.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Cannonball.
Actually, I don't think they died from Cannonball. I think they just died from like trying to crash into me and failing. Because they can't damage me.
I like how he did 500,000 damage to that little boulder thing. Alright, so he can't exit through Aegon's main entrance because there's a violet gate in the way in Temple Grounds. And to get into Aegon in the first place at the start, he went around that violet gate to get to Aegon. But there's no way to go the other direction out of bounds. So he needs to go to Torvis now, which is the second major area in the game. So he's out of bounds here to bypass a secret missile lock, which requires secret missiles, which he's not going to get for a while. He needs to hit a little trigger right there.
Oh, crap.
Oh, yeah.
That's annoying, but I can whip around it. Yeah, I was supposed to have the room load around me, but I didn't get inside it in time.
So he has to do a ceiling warp into the room now, which costs a chunk of time. But it's not a complete disaster or anything.
Oh, that's really high up. Wow. Okay.
So when he arrives in Torvis, the only way out of this room is another seeker lock. And we don't have seekers. So he's going to do another, he's going to get out of bounds again to get around it. Using a trick called a triple BSJ.
Bomb space jump.
Which is purely a height technique that lets you jump in the air after a bomb
I just
jump.
immediately jumped after landing without.
Oh, okay.
So this is Torvis Temple. He's going to shoot a dark door to activate a pirate fight. And then, conveniently enough, once you kill all the pirates in this first phase of the fight, the game warps you back in bounds. And
Yeah,
there's some really sick snipes. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, you're not supposed to be manually aiming. It's really, really difficult to do so.
Especially since Dark Beam is so slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so you're seeing Dark Beam and Light Beam in action here for once in combat, and they're very powerful weapons. An uncharged Dark Beam shot on a light enemy does as much damage as a missile. A light beam shot on a dark enemy does more damage than a missile. So they're very powerful if you know how to use them.
Yeah, part of the reason why the ammo system exists is because of how broken they are.
Alright, so he just got super missiles as well, which are going to be important for opening certain super missile locks. You don't strictly need them to beat the game.
Did I get supers? I wasn't supposed to get supers.
Wait. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, no, you didn't get. You didn't get
okay.
them.
Okay.
You did it. Okay, I lied. Ignore me.
Yeah, I get them later because I don't need them before I pass through that room again.
And he also needs to get I think it's Emerald Translator.
You need to get it
Yeah.
later, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
getting Emerald is the entire point of doing that fight because I'll warp to the energy controller, get Emerald, and if you get Emerald before doing that fight, then you can't get supers.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is
you
one
can
of-
never get rid of the barrier that's blocking supers.
This is a fun trick. Very
yeah.
notorious trick called Hive Dash, and it's harder than Grand Abyss, arguably.
This is not a good start.
But you have multiple chances at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely harder than Grand Abyss, but yeah,
Like, I've never done it before. You also need to wait for a Wasp to get in the correct position.
and now I have to. Okay.
There you go. You're good.
Now the fun part. Okay.
Oh. No.
That's new?
That's never happened before. So, when you're out of bounds, the game, you basically ignore all forms of physics when you're morphed. And the same applies when you're screw attacking. So if you bonk off of something and you don't actually land on anything, you soft lock. And he bonked incorrectly there, so he has to start that over, which is the reason why he has a safety save here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that means I have to set up cannonball again. So. Wow, I have never seen that before. So.
Oh, there goes one in the marathon. That's never happened before. Well, has that bonk happened before? I don't think I've seen that before.
I've never seen that before.
2. That's never happened before.
2.
In one run. So the entire reason why he has to do this hype dash here is because behind that door is a translator gate, and he doesn't have the corresponding translator for it.
He also doesn't have super missiles.
Yeah.
Well, like, I only got super missiles because like I don't have the translator, so I can't get through the gate anyway. Because super missiles, like, it saves a second to get it later on. Okay, let's try this again.
Nice.
Not that hard.
So I believe
Oh, well.
while screw attacking there, he hits a load trigger for the room, and the room loads around him as he lands.
Yeah, I hit the load trigger like right after I jump off the morph ball tunnel.
So he's taking a small detour to get Seeker missiles, which the main reason he gets Seekers is because there's a few Seeker doors he needs to go through the end of the run. And it's very slow and annoying to try to go out of bounds to get around them. So you're better off just getting Seeker missiles.
Yeah, it's possible to do that without Seeker missiles, which is done in a low percent, which the lowest percentage you can get in this game is 6%. You get Dark Beam, Light Beam, Dark Visor, Light Suit, Screw Attack, and main power bombs.
Shameless advertisement, Miles will be running 6% at AGDQ. And that category is even more broken than this category.
Yeah, you thought you saw a lot of out of bounds already? Yeah, 6%.
Oh.
So there's a translator gate here that the game lies about. And he doesn't have the corresponding translator for it, so he has to get out of bounds for it. He needs to first get close to the door to load the next room.
Yeah, so that's colored to amber, but it's actually a violet gate, but I don't have either, so it doesn't matter.
Point is, the game lies to you. This lost start is just annoying. There you go.
No.
This GBSJ is kind of annoying to do. Because you have to, as you do a bomb space jump, you have to move towards the wall, manipulate the camera into giving you an instant unmorph. And it can be really tricky when you're doing a triple bomb jump. So there's no collision this high up here. So he's going to go out of bounds into the elevator next to the room and get around that translator gate that he can't open. And upcoming in the next room, he's going to do another morph Secret World, which is Secret World being a term for a location to get out of bounds. Because you're not supposed to go through this hall in this direction. You're supposed to go in the opposite direction. And there's a light block that you only unlock by going in the opposite direction Mouse is trying to go through. So he has to go up, get around it by going out of bounds again. And there's a really specific setup here to make the game transition to the next room, or to make the game think he's in the next room.
Which I failed.
Yeah.
I was too high.
That should be good. Yep. So he's in great tempo, which is like an area you're supposed to go to within like the first 10 minutes of the game, but he's here after getting screw attack. Oh, hey, there's a boss
Nice,
fight here.
High
Okay,
splinters. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, never mind. Oh, there we go.
peace
Bye.
out. You're not supposed to have space jump for that, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, you can get out by using either space jump or bombs, and
Yeah, so right now I'm going to get Violet Translator, which is the second main item in the game, and Light Suit, which is the 22nd and last main item in the game.
So he just got Violet Translator here. Energy fully replenished dialogue box is kind of the indicator of that. Now he's about to get Light Suit. Oh, hey, I like the double UMOS. So now that he's gotten Light Suit, his next goal is to get the Dark Visor. So Light Suit and Dark Visor are the two most important upgrades to get in the game, because to get any, there are 9 Sky Temple keys in the run in the game that you have to collect to access the final area. To get a single one of them,
I wish you could see the TV right now.
yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty hilarious. To get a single Sky Temple key, you have to have the Dark Visor, no matter what. And to get like most of them, you also absolutely have to have the Light Suit.
Oh, come on.
There you go.
Thank you. That was actually almost really bad.
Is there a way to recover if you fall down there?
Maybe, like very, very slowly.
So floating.
Well, I mean, obviously floating would get you back up. But
Yeah, while you're in Ether, the game, you start floating upwards really, really slowly. Yeah, so because Miles had a reset, they're doing, or he has to set up Cannonball again.
I just need you for commentary. So. Yeah, so all of that was pointless. I just had to get Cannonball again because I lost it from having to reset.
I really wish they could see this TV.
Hey, can you take a picture of it next time I warp? Which
Yeah,
is going to be in
I'm
like
taking a picture of it.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so Miles just taking a little detour to Aegon to get the Amber Translator. They're all terrible.
So did they send us the losers or what?
Send freezers.
Yeah, unfortunately my run is at the same time as Smash 4 doubles, so bit of a scheduling conflict there. Now I get supers.
This powerful attack uses 5 missiles. I never really read that in so long until just now.
It says this powerful attack.
Yes, this powerful attack uses 5 missiles. There's a big exclamation point.
Okay, so Miles pulled out the scan visor there because there's like a 2-second cooldown where you can't really do anything, but pulling out the scan visor cancels that cooldown.
Yeah. So you can fire your beam immediately after you're shooting with the super missile. You can also cancel the cooldown by switching your beams, but it's not as fast. So here is a frame perfect trick, where if you've morphed the frame you enter water, you'll enter a state we call air underwater. There we go. And this allows him to use screw attack underwater, which you're not supposed to be able to, because 1, you're not supposed to be able to have screw attack before entering this area in the first place. And also, your third jump in water is supposed to be used by gravity boost, but he doesn't have that yet. So it's supposed to be a mid-game item.
To get it. Nice.
That's also a frame perfect
yep.
morph, yeah.
Frame perfect morph.
Because when you finish scanning something, there's a cutscene that plays after it. You have 1 frame of input. You have 1 frame of input between that. So if you press X there, that was just a morph button, then you skip the morph animation.
500,000 damage per frame.
Poor fish. Those poor fishies.
They deserved it.
They're basically ammo.
The best part about 100% is you go through there once with Annihilator Beam, so you just wrap it.
Wow. I haven't done this fight in like, I don't
Frame perfect.
remember.
Frame perfect.
Like,
He just got air underwater on a frame perfect again.
yeah, so fighting Alpha Block like that saves 10 seconds if you can get the frame perfect more.
And you have to. There's no visual cue for it. You basically have to morph the frame that the layers of the water overlap between the 2 rooms.
Okay.
I don't remember the last time I've seen you do that.
I have never seen that before.
It's been a long time. So this is Powerbomb Guardian, and he's fighting Powerbomb Guardian even though he already has a Powerbomb, because there's a Sky Temple key in Aegon Waste that never appears until after you get the main Powerbomb upgrade. Yeah, it's really arbitrary. So he's doing a technique here called a Sticky Boost, where if you hang off the edge of a spider ball track and then boost off of it, you can boost parallels with the spider ball tracks and skip parts of the puzzle. And avoid some bomb jumps as well, like that. It's a really cool mechanic in my opinion, because it's something they introduced in Echoes, where you can boost off of a spider ball track, and they carry that over into Corruption as well.
Yeah, so since I have Cannonball, nothing in that fight could hurt me, so it's kind of a joke.
So fun fact, that Powerbomb door, Powerbomb Guardian can blow it up for you. It's pretty amazing when it happens. It's like, oh, thanks for saving me a second and opening that door for me. Alright, so he just got the first of 3 Torfus keys. So each of the 3 main areas have their own set of keys, which you're supposed to get all 3 of them to unlock the path to the main boss. You never bother with Aegons, and you just skip them with Sanctuary. But unfortunately, there's no way to skip the 3 keys to Torfus to get to the Torfus boss. And we had to fight the Torfus boss because he gives us Dark Visor, which is absolutely required to get any of the Sky Temple keys.
Yeah, these, well, I was mentioning before, like those fish in 100%, you have Annihilator Beam and you just rapid fire and get a ton of ammo.
It's fantastic.
40 bounty and dark ammo, good job.
The Annihilator Beam, while you don't see the beam in this game, it has a very high firing rate and it homes in, and it deals a lot of damage considering the DPS for it, with the weakness being that it drains your ammo really quickly. But you're not going to see that in this run. So now his next goal is to get the 2 remaining Torvis keys, which are both in Upper Dark Torvis, and then fight Chica to get Dark Visor. It's a nice thing you have Screw Attack to skip going around the room. I believe this is the first time going to the Dark World with Light Suit? Or am I being silly?
No, because I just fought Powerbomb Guardian.
Oh, yeah, totally.
No, that's right.
Yeah, taking no damage in the Dark World is very convenient. So yeah, this is the path to Boots Guardian, who is a very notorious boss fight. And you get Boost Ball from him, but again, Miles completely skipped losing his items, so he's already had Boost Ball this entire time.
So the only reason I'm going here is for the key. I don't have to bother actually fighting this Guardian.
But don't you want to kill him with a Power Bomb?
No, that's reserved for Spider Guardian. One little thing about Cannonball, even if, let's say, hypothetically, he did lose his items, if you have Cannonball, you have Boost Ball.
The Cannonball gives you the ability to boost, even if you don't have Boost Ball.
Yeah, so it's like never useful in like standard category runs because you keep Boost Ball, but
There is a category called Max % No Light Beam that uses it.
why? Yeah, so coming up is Chica, which is 2 really long bosses. You got the larva phase and then the adult phase.
Yeah, this fight can be very ammo intensive too. But fortunately, he's almost full on ammo anyways, so.
Yeah, it's just I don't get any beam ammo expansions, which makes things fun because I have to be really careful with how much beam ammo I
Hey,
use.
Seeker's being useful.
Yeah, assuming we don't miss because the other day I actually had 1 miss.
Alright, so he's scanning Chica Larva here because you can't lock on it. You can't lock on its chest directly until after you fully scan it. And he's using charged light beam shots here because charged light beam does the most neutral damage out of all of your beams.
I skipped shooting him there because if I shot him, he wouldn't jump up right here.
So he's using the radar to predict where Chica Larva is going to spawn and then be prepared to fire him with more light beam shots. Chica Larva isn't weak to light or dark specifically, as an FYI. So he's alternating between light and dark beam, just primarily for ammo's sake, conserving ammo.
Okay, neat little trick there is if you keep spamming your beam and then also hit missile, you can fire a missile in between every 2 dark beam shots without it reducing your rate of fire.
Yeah, so here's Chica Adult, which is another really long boss I have to fight.
Yeah. This is probably the longest fight in a run.
Yeah.
Probably want some serious time.
Except for Cannonball kills it
Fine.
instantly. So no need to worry about that.
there's a there's a damage trigger underneath Chica Adult that you can take it down from full to 0 in 1 frame.
Yep.
Yep.
Poor Chica, taking 500,000 damage in 1 frame.
Yeah, Chica is 500 HP. I think the only things that can actually damage it there are Screw Attack and Cannonball, and you have to do enough damage to kill it in 1 frame, and Screw Attack only does 36, which is nowhere near enough for the 500 HP it has.
So after beating Chica, you're supposed to go get the Torvus energy, similar to how he did get the Sanctuary energy, but by just reloading Chica's room, you don't have to get it. So
yeah, that's
Torvus will never be saved.
That's a really big sequence break, because after you get the Torvus energy, a lot of the rooms are locked until after you return the energy, and then Umos wants you to go back to my Great Temple, so there are rooms even further that are locked.
Now begins the Sky Temple key hunt. Yay!
Yay!
Now he's basically gotten every upgrade he needs to start going around and getting the Sky Temple keys, which is a very exciting part of the run. Am I right?
Yep. Sanctuary is cool.
So to get a Sky Temple key, you need to turn on Dark Visor to see these caches, which you cannot damage them at all until you turn on Dark Visor, and then blow them up. And a lot of them are in dark water as well, which is why you need Light Suit. If you don't have Light Suit, the game literally puts a floor beneath the surface of the dark water, so you cannot go through it, even if you're able to tank the damage.
Yeah, there are some cases where you can get out of bounds and get in, but good luck getting out. There's no way.
And there's also a chunk of Sky Temple keys that are covered by a hazard, an environmental hazard called Inkstorm, which will basically kill you instantly if you don't have Light Suit. I think it's like only 2 or 3 keys. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's very few.
It's not many. Oh, that's a nice wall.
Yeah. Walls are just a suggestion.
Yeah. But the out of bounds here is kind of just an easy shortcut to get to this room here. So he's going down to back to Lower Torvus now, which has the other Sky Temple key in Torvus.
One thing we forgot to point out is you saw the door automatically deactivate or whatever. That's because Cannonball can damage doors that previously had a blast shield on them. So it's like if there's a missile lock and you blow up the missile lock, then Cannonball can open that door.
I was wondering about that. I never noticed that. It's like there's 9 Sky Temple keys, and there's 3 in Temple Grounds, which is kind of the hub of the game. And then there's 2 in each of the main areas of the game.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the intended way to access this portal is to activate a bomb cell into water, but just screw attacking and bunking off right there is faster.
Yeah, you also got to be a little careful, because if you get stuck in between 2 of the pillars, you soft lock. You just can't get out.
That was weird. So those are both Torvus's keys. Now we're going to go to Aegon. what just happened there.
You sound very excited about this.
I'll be excited once we get to Sanctuary.
Yeah, the route for Sanctuary Keys is actually really interesting, as opposed to Aegon and Torvus.
Fortunately, Aegon is pretty fast. So this is the secret door that led to Aegon's elevator Torvus. That previously he went around this door out of bounds, but now that he has secrets, he can just go through it.
Yeah, and there's no way to get out of bounds inside the elevator, so seekers are necessary to go through this door.
I like that missile count.
Yeah, I noticed that. I remember how to properly boost to get up here.
Yeah, so just like elevators to Sanctuary require power bombs, elevators from like Aegon to Torvus require seekers, and
The seekers are kind of like the gateway upgrade to the game, knowing, oh, you've been to Torvus, you've explored it, if you've gotten seekers before. Miles, is this your first time in the Dark World? Wow, that's a beautiful cutscene.
that's a really nice cutscene.
Wow.
Yeah, so the cutscene in this room starts playing immediately, and you're not supposed to...
Miles, did you know that some safe zones need to be shot to function?
It doesn't play the text if you shoot with light. Okay, good to know. I wish I knew that sooner.
Oh, the energized safe zones don't last forever?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I mean, it makes sense knowing how the scripting works, but...
So, this hallway right here is kind of a gateway of splitting up the two major areas of Dark Aegon. There's like the mining area and there's like the pirate area, but he already has super, so he can just go through and not worry about trying to get across the round.
Oh yeah, that noise doesn't go away unless you have Dark Suit.
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful noise, I must admit. There's a poor Aegon key that you just flat out ignored. Wow.
Well, if you think that one was bad.
Bye.
So rude.
They're useless anyway.
I'm loving all these missile drops I'm getting.
That's a nice missile count.
Okay, so this is the Sky Temple key that doesn't exist unless you have main power bombs.
Yeah, like, after you get main power bombs, it adds a few other things in the room, and they just happen to make the Sky Temple key one of those things. Like, so it's not an intentional thing they did. But yeah, so that's basically Aegon done. Just have to go to the elevator sanctuary.
He's going to be reusing the same spider ball track he did it early in the run. This one right here.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, that door had a power bomb blast shield on it before, so Cannonball can open it. Surely you'll give me some missiles, right? Cool.
Oh, hey, missiles. Okay, so there's this one Sky Temple key in Lower Sanctuary that's really far out of the way and involves going through really like 6 or 7 rooms on a linear path, and then you have to go back through those same rooms again. Typically, you need light suit to get it, because light suit also gives you the ability to traverse, use light beam warps, which in the room with the Sky Temple key warps you to the top of the room, which has the Sky Temple key. You can get it from out of bounds, but it takes forever to do, so you really don't want to do that.
So that's the first key. Things get really fun with the second key. Okay, cool missile. Like it. Nothing.
Nice drops.
Wow.
Nice drops.
Well, time for a safety save because there is a really minor chance something can happen here, and I also haven't saved in like half an hour or something.
Not gonna lie, I don't remember the last time I've seen that save station. Like, in speedrun, why would you ever use it? But like, this is a relatively recent route change. I don't remember exactly how much time it saves, but
about 30 seconds.
yeah, it's a good chunk of time. And there's also a small risky factor to it, potentially stop blocking if Miles makes a mistake. It's a safety save. So the other Sky Temple key is up in Upper Sanctuary, right behind where Spider Guardian was.
I was supposed to roll jump across the wall.
He's going to do another morph secret roll right here. Flip out of bounds. Alright, so right there, Miles touched the platform, which triggered the game into thinking, oh, Miles' Samus was on this platform, so the next time he hits Terminal Fall, I'm going to warp him back on that platform.
Yeah, I didn't actually have to land on the platform, I just had to get close to it, but I just happened to land on it.
Because that massive room with the Sky Temple key and also the room with the grapple point and all the night barbs are technically the same room.
Right, this tunnel. There we go. Oh wait. Ah, crap. Okay.
So this is the Morphball maze where you're supposed to fight Spider Guardian. Nice.
And so what I did was have this room worker's path load around me mid screw attack. So it can be a bit risky. I mean, in a lot of places, screw attacking out of bounds, assuming you don't get stuck in the wall like I did earlier, but if you fall, then you'll end up falling forever. Now, that doesn't actually happen for a screw attack I just did because there's a invisible floor below the room. Because like there's terminal fall in that room and stuff. So it just land on the invisible floor, but there is a chance of getting stuck in the wall or something and getting stuck, so.
I'll do it when.
Conveniently enough,
Yeah.
after he gets light suit, he can use the
Pictures are bad. I'm taking a video.
Oh, go for it.
I'll take a video next
Do it.
time when you get to Sky Temple.
Yeah.
So he's collected 6 Sky Temple keys, basically all the Sky Temple keys in the major areas, and now he's going to clean up the last 3 in Temple Grounds, which is kind of like the hub area. And this is a big reason why you still want to get all the translators, because all 3 of these gates are different translator colors, and these are also very valuable shortcuts for getting the Sky Temple keys quickly.
Yeah. So just the 3 keys and Temple Grounds, and then we're done. Then we get to fight the final bosses.
Which are fun to watch if you haven't seen one them speedrun before. So, a lot of the Sky Temple keys in this area are behind secret locks, which is the big reason why you really want to get secret missiles. Yes, you can get out of bounds to get around them, but the method to get out of bounds is really obnoxious, and it's also just slower. And that's a lot of damage you took from that.
At least he didn't get lost.
Alright, so we're back in Great Temple, going back to the center room with the translator gates, and then taking a different elevator to another part of Temple Grounds. So the Great Temple and Temple Grounds are technically 2 different areas, but for all intents and purposes, they're kind of like the same area. They're separated by 3 different elevators, with each leading to a different area of Temple Grounds.
Yeah, it may seem kind of slow going up and down all these elevators, but when we time this game and optimize it, we optimize by in-game time, which the in-game timer only ticks up when you have direct control of Samus.
So it doesn't count cutscenes or dialogue boxes or cutscenes like this right here. It doesn't count those. Which leads to some interesting optimizations concerning things like loading and such, because, for example, sometimes you would let a cutscene play out so another room would load more quickly, or let a cutscene play out that will move Samus to a different location that will save in-game time.
Okay.
For future reference. So I believe this room has what I mentioned before called the Ink Storm.
Those little purple or red things.
Those dots. They will basically kill you in like 3 seconds without light suit. Maybe even less, I don't know. They do exponential
I don't
damage.
think it's that fast. No,
It's not that
It's not
fast.
exponential.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
It's also not that fast, but you won't last past the room.
Yeah, like you're not going to last even if you have like all 14 energy tanks.
I'm not so sure about that. I think you could get through if you were at max energy tanks.
Nice bombs.
And I'm assuming you're invincible to them if you're screw attacking, so helps too.
If you guys have a second, I have a donation for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
We have $20 from Wandering Mind. He says, I'm really enjoying Smash the Record. Can't wait to do my run later tonight. Glad to see this going to a great cause. Exterminate the animals. It's the only way. Quick reminder that bid war is going on and will be going on until the end of the next run, which is Super Metroid. So get those donations in for rescuing and exterminating the animals.
Oh yeah. I always forget I don't have to scan this thing. So we're about permanently done with the light world. Hey, I can open this now.
That's a violet gate as a reminder, even though the color is amber.
It's just you're not intended to ever get there without amber. Oh, I made it up. And thought
Yeah,
I
I was surprised you made that slope jump.
Yeah.
Oh, we never explained the slope jump.
So basically, slope jumping is
didn't. You jump on a slope and you jump higher.
thanks.
basically.
There, basically.
Basically it. That's all you need to know. And it's not obvious at all when he does one for those who don't run the game. But it's a pretty important trick that's used pretty frequently. Both for minor time saves and also for major skips. Don't you want that missile tank?
Yes, but
It's the last missile tank you get in the game.
Alright, last guy temple key. And we're done.
Yep.
We can finally go to the Sky Temple, which is the final area in the game.
okay, I'm really surprised I actually locked onto all of those.
Hey, Seekers didn't troll you at all.
Oh, man.
Sometimes the Seeker locks, like when you aim at them and then fire the missiles, they'll sometimes miss. All right.
Oh, you get the video.
I'm
Yeah.
getting this wonderful video.
If you want to see how this looks on the TV right now, I believe Xanthian will probably tweet this out.
I will be tweeting this out.
It's Xanthian93 with an X.
Yes, it's with an X, not a Z.
This save is really not needed, but whatever. Who knows?
This is Echoes. It can crash.
He's actually serious though. It can crash.
Like, there was this one time where it just randomly crashed on Miles for going for a 3 BSJ in Temple Grounds for no reason. It was pretty hilarious. And it can actually crash on the final boss, Emperor Ing, as well.
Yeah, like I know how to avoid it though, so it's like that should never actually happen. But
Alright, so the Emperor Ing fight, there are 3 major phases to it. First phase, you have to expose its core by defeating all the tentacles. Each tentacle is taken out by firing it once with light beam. Like that. And the best weapons he currently has for the core is super missiles. So he's gonna hit it with 4 super missiles, and that will barely kill it in 1 round. Sunburst and Annihilator Beam do more damage, but he doesn't have them, so yeah. This is the second phase where you have to bomb all of these openings and destroy all the tentacles. And this is where power bombs can really come in handy here, because you can destroy multiple at once.
Yeah, you have just enough power bombs to do this.
Also, a reminder, he has Cannonball, so those black puddles are not doing anything to him. And that's the second phase. This is the long phase. The third phase is as long as Chico Adult.
Yeah, about that.
Extremely long.
Ow. Whatever. This is where everything goes way downhill.
Oh, the bomb.
Yeah, so there is a damage. There's a damage trigger underneath Emperor 3 that is weak to screw attack for some reason.
Yep.
I have no idea how that missile still existed because I'm pretty sure that was from Emperor 2.
Alright, so there's actually one more boss in the game, which we call Dark Samus, which is Dark Samus 3, and for some reason there's a second phase called Dark Samus 4.
Good luck, Miles.
Good luck. You will need it.
Hopefully Dark Samus 4 will never happen, but I don't have really good luck with skipping that in Marathon, so we'll see.
It's basically down to luck whether you can skip the phase with Dark Samus 4 or not.
So I did just about enough damage as I could without starting the Dark Samus 4 phase.
And he's going to wait for Dark Samus to come down here. She's invulnerable during this attack.
Dark Samus is also, you can also damage her with screw attack. So.
Yeah, it's just, okay, she stopped.
Okay, good.
Sometimes she'll just not care about your missiles. Oh my god, screw attack. Thank you. What was going on? Oh, come on.
She went in the middle. Wow.
I
Okay,
should
this is Dark
have
Samus
screw
4.
attacked her again. I was trying to finish it off with Dark thing real quick.
But there,
Done.
Time.
Yeah.
That was 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 3 seconds.
Okay.
That's
Well,
Echoes.
that was Echoes. I guess we really should be going.
Yeah, it takes 8 minutes to see
Yeah.
the in-game time. So yeah,